Vice President Dr. Barra Jagdeo conducted a two-day outreach in Region 6, where he met with various groups and addressed their concerns. The Vice President also made some major announcements. Among them, the government's plan to make available 3,000 part-time government jobs for residents.
In the short term, though, we have to try to get people re-employed. So that is why in this year's budget, we made a decision that we will give people temporary employment so that they can have a family income whilst we're working on the plans. We did 800 in Essequibo Coast, about 800 in Region 10 too, that's Region 2. But in Berbice, Region 6, it's going to be 3,000 part-time jobs that will start next week or so coming to this region. So that is actually more people that are laid off in the estate up here.
The Vice President was at the time speaking at a meeting with the business community in the region at the Classic Hotel Banquet Hall, Skeldon. He explained that the region was the hardest hit by the APNU AFC's closure of the Gaisuko estates, which saw some 7,000 sugar workers losing their jobs across the country. Individuals would have the opportunity to work 3 days per week and earn approximately $40,000 per month through the initiative. The Vice President also announced plans to construct a stadium at Palmyra.
We have also taken all the lands from Gaisuko around the Palmyra area, where the monument is, and you're going to have a stadium similar to the one in Providence in Georgetown. So we believe, just like how that stadium serves Region 3 and 4 across the bridge, so too this stadium can serve 6 and 5 in that area, and it could become a growth pole for businesses around there. So similarly, what happened on the East Bank, when we planned it in a way that hotels, you have 2 new hotels, university, a whole range of stuff.
At the meeting with fisherfolk earlier on Sunday, the Vice President committed to ensuring those plying their trade in Suriname's waters receive their official licenses to bar the harassment they are currently facing. The Vice President was joined by Minister within the Office of the President with responsibility for Finance Dr. Ashni Singh, Minister of Agriculture Zulfikar Mustafa, Minister of Education Priyamani Chand, and Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Yu Todd.
The difficulties in solving a problem when you don't control all the variables mean you don't control the solution. If it was a Guyana issue, a licensing issue, in 1 minute we can solve it. In a day we can solve it. But this is a different country that operates with its own laws, its different rules, and it got its own people some who want to see the issue resolved and many who don't want to see the issue resolved. Many over there. And many don't want to see the issue resolved because they are benefiting from this. So they're fighting to prevent the issue from being solved.
During the community meeting at Line Path Community Center Ground, the Vice President told residents that government will be offering 400 small business grants to persons with viable business proposals. He was accompanied by Minister Mustafa and Minister of Housing and Water Colin Crowell. The Vice President related government's intention to partner with private cane farmers to utilize some 12,000 acres of land for production of various crops, which is currently being explored. While over at the Tagore Secondary School for another meeting, the Vice President explained how jobs would be created there as government taps into the lucrative hemp industry.
You may have heard a lot about industrial hemp. It looks like marijuana. The trees, it's hard to differentiate the trees. But people grow this, they then sell it. There will be a factory that they can sell it to, and the factory can then process the plant into rope, clothing, soap, oil, all of these things they make from the industrial hemp. So that is, in 2 months' time, we are passing a law because we want to regulate it tightly so that people don't go and plant marijuana in between the hemp because they look very close. So we got to look at that, regulate it tightly, but we've identified two areas in the country, in Region 10 and Region 6, and a lot of the Gaisuko lands to grow that.
A sum of US $100 million will be invested to widen and pave the main access road from New Amsterdam to Molson Creek, Quarantine. The project will see the thoroughfare being widened 4 feet on each side. Tenders for the project will be out shortly. Another $4 billion is set aside for community roads. There will also be upgrades to several bridges across the region. Further, the Vice President noted that a campus will be established at Port Morant to provide training in oil and gas.